so hopefully you already know what we're up to. If not, check out part 1, linked in the description below, or just stay here and have a good time. I got challenged to a race by my friend Lithic. He thought that just because he's an artist, he could beat me in a game about circles. This game, Pokemon Ranger, is one of my favorite spin-offs in Pokemon history, and I wasn't about to let him win. Up to now, we got through roughly half the game, and we're still neck and neck. We finished quelling Entei and are going for the next quest. One other small thing to note, Lithic's screen last time was a bit, let's just say, mid as hell. So, this time, we fixed the screen a bit to make it a little bit more bearable. Our next mission takes us to the Go Rock Squad's hideout, where the professor just happens to guess the code to the door. 60, which wasn't too hard because of the genius of having a 2-digit number as your phone lock screen. We go through the facility, freeing some Pikachu on the way, and the professor, after proving how smart he was with the door earlier, presses a big red button in the base, causing everyone to know that we're here. This caused us to get attacked from all directions, but we made it through that ambush and continued onwards to the top. Getting the last cage open for a Raichu allows us to go further up to fight the boss of this area, a Scizor. I use my trusty stun fighting type strategy to catch it, while Lithic uses his classic water assist to skate right by it, completing the mission. This gets us up to Ranger rank 8, and we get told that our next mission is up north, in Windtown. This would be an easy enough time in theory, but we still had to get there somehow. This is where Cameron comes in. The guy who leads the good-for-nothing Summerland Rangers gives us a broken pod to get there. There's just one problem with this though. It's still broken. However, the mechanic has been working on it, so it'll probably get done soon. Oh, you lost the parts in the woods. Great. When we hear the news, we offer to get the parts, but we have to take the mechanic for some reason. And that causes another situation. He's afraid of bugs. More specifically, bug Pokemon. So we're stuck on an escort mission with a man who is afraid of bugs in a jungle. Do you know what lives in this jungle? Snorlaxes. No, I'm joking. It's a bunch of bug Pokemon. Bugman, as we call him, makes me go back first when I get rushed by an Ariados. Then Lithic is taken away to the beginning by another Ariados. And I'm gone now too. During my trek back, Lithic makes it to the parts, and I make it shortly after. Bug Guy kicks a Magikarp, and 3 more appear with that one. Then, a pissed Mama Gyarados appears, and we have to quell the beast. I conquer the foe first, grabbing the parts, and finally finishing the small Bugman questline. This is the part where we get to head back towards the northmost town, through yet another cave. I get to the cave, while Lithic catches his Gyarados. This is the cave that we've been dreading this whole time for one reason. The boss of this trip is a Steelix, which is coming up, and we'll have to deal with that when we get to it. Through the cave, we have to rescue a poor, lost Swinub and bring it home. And while I was doing that, this happened. Okay, we'll stick with this. Then we go this way. What? Really? Already?
Yeah.
We were dreading over nothing?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, in the cave, I played so horribly that Lithic caught up, made it to the Steelix already, and managed to catch the Iron Snake. How long did it take him, you ask? Literally 30 seconds. We had been dreading this fight for the entire race, and Lithic caught it in 30 seconds. He moved on towards the town, and I made it to Steelix. This is going to be a long part. I died to the Steelix, not 1. I'm dead. Let's go! Not 2, not 3, but 4 times. And to top it all off, Lithic was already pulling ahead, starting mission 9, which is one of the longest missions in the game. He starts to go through the quest, catching all the Go Rock Squad Pokemon, and then catching an Altaria to get rid of some dense fog. I was getting a bit heated at that. I don't remember the fog. Or who asked. Until we realized that, even without having ears, Steelix loved the kazoo, and we managed to catch that boy.
Chap, I don't know about you, but I have a feeling we're sort of doing kind of well over here. Well, our friend over here is having a bit of a trouble with a certain Pokemon. You good?
Now I am.
But that didn't solve one problem. It took me a whole 12 minutes to catch it, and Lithic had that amount of a lead now. How do I even go about catching up to someone that far ahead? Would that even be possible? Well, we're about to find out, because I still had one trick up my sleeve. Text mashing. While Lithic might beat me in the art of, well, art, he didn't have my gamer mashing prowess. So let's see if that's good enough to get past him. And then there's one more thing that happens to Lithic that helps me catch up a little bit. The Charizard fight. The same Charizard from before in the challenges becomes a recurring character and we have to catch it again. While Lithic was starting that fight, I made my way to Windtown, the last settlement of the region, and begin to mash my way closer to my rival. Lithic shows off his artist skills once again by failing to catch the Charizard for enough time for it to literally run away from him. He then remembers about his one and only love, Water-type Poke Assist. Well, I also remembered about water types.
Okay.
Charizard.
Poliwrath, look at this! Actually, I could use water, can't I?
Bubbling the Pokemon gives Lithic enough time to catch the Zard, and I was stuck struggling against a bunch of seeds. I then make my prediction about how the race will end.
I'm gonna catch up, and I'm gonna catch Raikou while you're catching Entei and Suicune.
Liffy makes it to the end of the route and goes to enter the Go Rock Squad base. But there's a problem. It's too well hidden, and Lithic can't seem to find it. Until a man exits, talking about how shitty his job is, and how he shouldn't goof off like this. This let Lithic in, and while he was on that, I managed to make my way up to the Zard fight. So, a little bit more time saved for us. Whoa. I then do something that no one would expect. I use what I swore to destroy. The Water Poke Assist, to catch the Mon in a timely manner. The next major time saver, Lithic doesn't know how to complete a maze to save his life. He spent 9 whole minutes on this maze. Kinda like those Geodudes from last time, that he struggled on for 9 minutes. I made it through the maze in 3, and now we were tied again, after 5.5 hours. Then comes the boss rush for this game. It takes the 4 Go Rock quads and gives them more to fight us with. First up is the Camerupts. And yes, I said Camerupts. Yes, there are 2 now. Deal with it. Lithic pulls ahead on it with a smooth water assist capture, while I mess around a little bit, giving Lithic a minute lead. Next up was Clyde, with the entire slacking line, which, funnily enough, with my messed up graphics, have him do this.
Also, quick reminder, we have 1 hour after this. Oh my god, he sat on the drum, let's go!
Lithic tried to use the electricity to make the capture, but he just don't use it right. He then switches to his classic, the water, to no avail. I start the capture, Lithic finishes about a minute ahead still, and we move on. The key difference, and the only way that I managed to get time on our Lithy boy, is that during these 3 fights, I don't go back to save, meaning the run could end if I die to any of these fights. We both get to the next fight, 2 Scyther and a Scizor, and we buckle down for a whole 20 seconds before I capture them on and take the lead. Lithic then uses his classic and catches the poor bug from inside the bubble.
Lithic, we're both at the same save point right now.
Then, while getting to the next boss, Lithic dies to a Machamp? Not even the boss, just a random Mon. With that small time save, I enter the next boss, the entire T-Tar line. This capture is rough, but not because of what you expect. The Pupitar is an absolute menace. It counts as a ground type, not rock, which means that neither Plusle nor Minun can affect it. So while paralyzing the T-Tar, the Pupitar can just say no, And that's exactly what it does to me, taking out my styler and my hope for winning. But not everything was lost, because just a moment after I lose, Lithic does as well. Tied again. Once we make it back, it takes about a minute for Lithic to catch the T-Tar, then the Pupitar, for a successful catch, while I was stuck for about 3 minutes. Then, after their defeat, the Go Rock squad becomes the Bomb Squad and blows the place up. This baffling, bombastic display of buffoonery causes us to panic a bit until our Ubird gets here. The two Ubird drivers state that their mission is to get us out of there, and not our leader, who was left inside, and we leave without him. And for abandoning our leader and blowing up the mountain, we get to Ranger rank 10, our last rank up. This lets us have 7 Poke Assists. The next questline has us going towards the Fior Temple, and you guessed it, we entered at the exact same time. The last quest of the entire game, and we were still tied up. The last bit of the game starts with hitting the like button. Wait, that's not... Who changed my script? This last bit of the game begins with a challenge, capturing a Vaporeon, Jolteon, and a Flareon. Lithic runs into one of the 3 first, the Flareon, and runs away from it for a second? I don't understand the tactic, but whatever works for him. The next evolution to get found was the Jolteon by me. While I was catching dat boy, Lithic managed to get his. Jolteon was snatched, and we were off for our seconds. This time, I make it to the next fella first, the Flareon, and I apprehend that fiery feline. Lithic gets to his Jolteon, while I make it to the Vapor Villain. The L-Man throws the Jolteon into the air with Psychic to pluck the Jolteon from its home to take with him. While this was going on, I was having a bit of trouble dealing with the water evolution. Its main gimmick was slipping away from the battle. It ran from me 6 frickin' times, allowing Lithic to catch up, and guess what happened? The same time. Again. I make it to the pedestals first, and drop off the last Mon, opening the door to hell. What I mean by that is it let us go to the actual temple, where a barrage of fights are, and I was in the lead by a whopping 30 seconds. And that would change soon enough. Linoone was the fight for me. That let Lithic get ahead once more. Then we made the worst rule imaginable. We both agreed, since we both came into the gauntlet with only a Raichu by our side, that would be the only thing that we get to use for the entirety of the temple. Oh hey, would you look at that? I lost to the Linoone fight, and Lithic pulls ahead to the next battle. Let's go back to me. Oh, wait, nope, guess not. Lithic gets stuck on the next battle, long enough for me to clear the Linoone deities and get to the same fight. He gets through, leaving me once more, but I managed to get through just 1 minute behind him. Then, on the next fight against a Blaziken and a Blastoise, Lithic and I get the exact same pattern with Plusle and Minun. Lithi got through the fight easily, while I had to struggle a little bit more on it. While I was going through those pains, Lithic made it to the finale. The final gauntlet within the gauntlet. The boss of many Loopers' nightmares. Raikou, Suicune, and Entei. But before we get to that, let's get through my battle. Well, I died again. This time though, I got the perfect Paralyze with Plusle and move on quickly to catch up to the final bosses. With these fights, we still had our same rule set. We had no Poke Assists to use during it. With this arbitrary guideline, we had to play flawlessly against the first Pokemon, Raikou. Raikou has a few attacks that'll shock all of you. One being his Thunderbolts. These Thunderbolts struck down and destroyed the Styler's health by 4 points. This doesn't seem like too much, but they start to stack up over time. Due to these bolts, Lithic is sent back, and because he forgot to take the time to save, I was now ahead by 1 battle. Oh, how the tables have turned. We both struggle against the dog-cat thing for a bit. Lithic dies again. Within the first 9 minutes of the fight, the lowest either of us got to was a 3. Then comes Lithic's 3rd death to the electrified lad. And his 4th. Then comes my death to it. The race coming down to not the last 3 Mons, but the first of the last. Oh hey, look, another death to Lithic's team. Then came the 3 words that I was afraid to hear.
I got him!
What? Really? Fuck!
Lithic managed to get past the Raikou after 20 minutes of fighting it. And that was it. I died again, while Lithic moved on to the next fight. And as predicted, Suicune didn't put up much of a fight against the power of Minun. So while I was still stuck on Raikou, Lithic made it to the final boss, Entei. Entei has the power of the volcanoes this time, and comes back with a vengeance, as he is surrounded by fireballs for the first part, making the loops do absolutely nothing. Lithic fires Minun to get rid of them, and hammers away at the fight. The Fire Dog sets up pillars of fire to make the capture even harder to complete. Then, when all hope seemed lost for our side.
Oh. Dude, you can't do this to me.
Caught him!
You caught him?
I caught Raikou. And I only have 6 HP left for the entire thing.
Do you not have a right to?
I used it.
We had a fighting chance still. Lithic was struggling on Entei, and I passed Suicune with ease. And like any main protagonist, I leveled up in the middle of the fights, healing me back up to full. The final fight, all 7 hours, led up to this point. We were on the same fight for the finale. Then, as everything seemed to be going right, Lithic got the perfect use of Minun, and we lost to him. Just like that, all of the time that we had spent catching up to him, all of the good fights we had, all of the time that we were tied, it was over. Lithic won the first annual Pokemon Ranger race by 1 fight. I went on, not trying to end without beating the game, and beat it only 2 minutes after he did. Do you know what would have saved us a little more than 2 minutes? Remember back, earlier in the game, we did the capture contest, which takes 3 minutes. And that's where this ended. The first rivalry victory going to Lithic, because I chose to make a bad decision. If you guys enjoyed, and you stuck around all the way to the end, you're awesome, and you're all looking great, by the way. Hitting the like and subscribe button would be greatly appreciated, as I am just starting out. With that, I will see all of you guys in the next video next time. See ya!